Here's the sketch I did today. It's of Ceratosaurus dentisulcatus, which the specimen exists in North America and in Portugal. But in this case I'm doing the Portugal version. So yeah, you can see the sketch. It's just a fairly basic pencil sketch. I did no shading. I basically did line work and details. And the paper is actually fairly big. It's 36 by 26, I believe. It's not a set size that you'll find in a store, but I had this paper lying around and I just wanted to do the sketch. So let's go ahead and jump right into Photoshop. You can do this in Photoshop or basically any other art program. It works the same way. So yeah, let's prepare our stuff. So basically this is the illustration we're going to do today. I'm recording this in advance after I do the illustration, but I'm going to guide you guys on how to, this is going to be the result basically. So let's hide the layers that make up this, alright? And so basically, let's start with the first step. You had a sketch and you took a well-lit photo. So here's the photo, which wait a second. I'm gonna get the photo. Actually, I think I deleted it, to be honest. Maybe not. Let me see. No. So here's the photo. Here's the photo I took. It was a really sunny day, so you can see it's really bright. You can barely see the line work, but yeah, it works. So if you don't have a scanner, if you have a scanner, that's the first option. You just take it to the scanner and scan it. If you don't take a photo outside, don't do it at night, of course. Yeah, so now let's put this photo here. And we're trying to get this result. This is the result we want to start our painting, but this is what we have, of course. So I'm not sure if I can get it totally the same. I got it when I was painting, but I'm going to try to get a similar result so you guys can see what I did. So basically, we have our photo. Alright, so we have a photo, and basically what I'm gonna do is, first of all, I'm going to go to Adjust, Exposition, and so I'm gonna play with these three bars. So I have Gamma, Exposition, and the middle one doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna get the gamma. I'm gonna put the gamma up. So you guys can see when I up the gamma, it gets darker. The whole thing gets darker, but the darker line get even darker than normal. So you're gonna get up the gamma a lot, and now I'm gonna up the exposition. See what it did? You got really bright. So yeah, so don't up that much on the exposition. Now it's okay, and now let's do it again. Alright, so let's do it one more time. Let's see if we can get it to really pop out. So you can see when I'm getting the gamma up, the dark lines really get dark, and that's what I want. I really, whoa, that's a lot. I really don't care about the rest of the image, because that's gonna go. I'm gonna crop it around with an eraser. So yeah, so that's pretty good. What I'm gonna do is, you notice that the center part right here, it's lighter than the parts around it. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the gradient tool. I can touch. Wait a second. All right, I'm gonna grab the gradient tool. I'm gonna put it on a color dodge, and I'm gonna just grab a white color. I'm gonna put it about 10%, and I'm gonna just make it a bit. Just put it there. You can see it makes it lighter, but the dark lines stay dark. So that's what I want to do. I'm gonna do a couple times in the tail. I'm gonna do one more time on the head, and you can see that it's much brighter all around. So now I'm gonna do a little bit more play with gamma correction. Let's go with a bit. No, that's all. Just up the exposition a bit, and there we go. So now what we have is an image that can be worked on. Actually, I think on the it needs a bit more color dodge on the head. Yeah, there we go. A bit more. So yeah, now we have an image that we can work on, and basically what you guys are gonna do, what you're gonna see me do, is pick up an eraser, put it at 100% opacity, and basically just go around and erase everything around the sketch. And after you've done that, just erase the part that you don't want of the sketch, so basically everything around the Ceratosaurus, and we should be good to go. Alright, so I just finished copying the image. I used my eraser, I put it 100% opacity, just like I said, and I went around the sketch and erased everything that I didn't want. So here's the sketch that we have. Here's the image that we had before. And here's the sketch we have now. Basically just the Spinosaurus. So now I'm going to create another layer on top. I'm going to use the Alt key plus left button. So I'm going to use the Alt key and the left and click with the left mouse button between the layer that I just created and the sketch layer. And that's going to clip the layer. So you're going to see it's the layer on top is a little bit to the right. I'm going to call it local color, and I'm going to put it on multiply. And the reason I put on multiply is because if I don't put in any special mode, I'm just going to paint over it and you're not going to see the sketch. But if you put on multiply, because the sketch is white, it's basically just going to paint and multiply with the color underneath and let you paint normally. So as you can see, what I'm doing here is I just pick the color, and then I pick my painting brush, and I'm just painting over the sketch. And because I clipped the layer with the Alt key, you can see that I can't paint out of the Ceratosaurus. So everything I paint is gonna stay within the boundaries. And in this step, basically what you do is you paint the local color of the animal. So not only the basic color like I'm doing here, but then all the tone and variation that you see in an animal. So for example, the top of the animal might be a little bit more saturated or a little bit darker, and the belly of the animal might be a little bit lighter, or maybe the horns of the animal might be a little bit vibrant in color for display purposes. So everything, all of those things you do in this step, which is step number 1, local color. A local color is the color of an object when it's not in light or it's not in shadow, which is the general color of an object. So I've just finished painting the local color. I have all the tone and variation that I wanted. And what we're gonna do now is, you may have noticed that the Ceratosaurus has some injuries. So basically what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put a layer on top, on multiply, just like the local color layer, and I'm gonna use the Alt key trick that I used with the local color. And I'm gonna pick a reddish color and I'm just gonna paint around the ones to make it look more believable. Maybe they're infected, maybe they're dripping some blood. And that's basically it for the basic part of the painting. So next up we're gonna do light and shadow, and then highlights, and that's just the simple way I do paintings. So here I'm adding some blood around the mouth, because you may have noticed that Ceratosaurus has a bit of meat in the mouth. So we just to add that extra touch, make it look better. Alright, so I just finished painting all the local color and the blood. So that was the first two steps. Now it's step 2, shadows. So I'm gonna add a layer on top. I'm gonna call it shadows, and I'm gonna put it on the blend mode multiply. And just like we did with the other layers, I'm gonna clip it with the Alt key and the left mouse button. I click in between the layers, and that's gonna clip it. So you can see there's 4 layers in total that are a bit to the right, that are on top of my sketch layer. And now I'm gonna pick a mid-tone. I put my opacity of the brush usually at around 40 to 50% to this step, and just paint shadows on top. That's basically it. And if you're doing a completely digital painting, this is a tutorial on how to transform your traditional sketch, or normal traditional sketch, into a finished digital illustration. But if you're doing completely digital, this is where you start. So you had done your line work and then you paint it underneath. Because you're doing traditional, you can't just paint underneath, so you have to follow those steps that I just said. But if you're doing digital, you can start from here. I had the layer on top with multiply, and you should be good to go. So now literally we're doing is painting shadows. So the parts that are farther away from the light is gonna be darker. Everything you know about knowledge about light and shadow is gonna be useful here. Just observe the real world and take it as an example. I recommend studying it. Just even if you're not drawing, just looking at, for example, at a tree, it helps, because you see how light works and how reflected light works. So yeah, we're just literally painting shadows on top. And use the shadows to follow the wrinkles and follow the shape of the animal. So use all of these steps from now on to kind of shape the animal around, so it's not a flat image, it feels more like a 3D image. So we already finished painting the shadow, so now I'm gonna create another layer on top, just like we did, same process, use the Alt key to clip it in, but now I'm gonna put it on overlay, on the mode overlay. And I'm gonna pick a kind of bright color. I usually don't go white, I go a little bit saturated, but not a lot saturated. And with this step, it's basically the shadows, but now you're painting light on top. So the parts that are closer to the light source are gonna be lighter, and the parts that are farther away from the light source are gonna be darker. So yeah, just painting light on top. It's literally as simple as it looks and sounds. And keep in mind, if you're using, you can alter the tone of the light. So in this case, I'm using kind of a grayish tone. But for example, if you're doing a kind of late afternoon setting, you might want to go a little bit orange and more saturated. Just you can kind of play around with the tones, and you could have some really good results. Alright, so we're finished painting the light. Now I'm gonna create another shadow layer on top. So this is step 3, deeper shadows. So I'm gonna deepen the shadows to give the feeling of reflected light. And so basically I'm gonna create another layer on top. I'm going to do the same steps. So I'm gonna quickly use the Alt key plus the left mouse button in between the layers, these deep shadow layers and the one beneath, as you can see right here, and eclipse it in. Now I'm going to put it on multiply again. Accidentally erase the layer. I'm going to get it back. Yeah, so I'm going to Alt key right. I'm going to name it deeper shadows. I'm going to put it on multiply just like we did with the shadow layer. I'm going to use the same color as the shadow, or somewhat close, it doesn't matter. And now we're going to deepen the shadows. So with this step, you really pick the spots that are farther away from the light source to be darker, but you also use this step to follow the wrinkles and the texture in the skin, so you can add some really nice texture on the drawing. And what this also does is the feeling of bounced light. Alright, so we finished the deepening the shadows, and now we're on to the last step. So yeah, we're pretty close to the end, and now we're going to do the last step, which is highlights. So this is the part that really makes the painting pop. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a layer on top, but you're not going to clip it in like we did, just a normal layer on top. Don't do anything to this layer. Normal mode, nothing special. I'm gonna create another layer on top of everything. We're gonna grab the color that you're using and brighten it up a lot. So basically I pick the color of the snout like you're seeing there, and I make it a lot brighter on the color wheel. And now I'm putting on top the texture of the scales. So it's as simple as that. There's really nothing special going on here. So now as you can see, I pick the color of the meat, I make it brighter, and there we go, I'm painting some highlights, some reflected light from the sun. And now we do the same for the crest, and it's literally the same for the rest of the body. You just paint the color, paint the parts that are closer to the light source, where you feel there's just don't overdo highlights. Use them sparingly. Alright, so now I just finished the head, and now we're doing the body. So I picked the color of the body, and now I'm just doing some first before I blend it, I'm just doing some rim lighting along the edges of the body with that really bright color. And notice how I'm following the shape of the body. So this is what I talked before. Use this part, this step, to really shape the image. And now you can see I'm blending it, and I'm kind of following the shape of, not only following the shape of the body, but also following the wrinkles. Alright, so finished the top of the body, and now I'm going to do the claws and the osteoderms. So these are really reflective, which means they reflect a lot of light. So make it lighter than you would make for the body. So in this case I picked a color and just make it a whole lot lighter. Alright, so I just finished the osteoderms, and now we're doing the claws. So it's the same, exactly the same thing for the claws that we did for the osteoderms. Pick the color and just make it brighter. And now we do some highlights on the claws. So on the claws of the feet, I do 2 highlights, because usually theropods have a groove that goes along the claws. So I like to demonstrate that, and I do some double highlights in there. Alright, so basically that's it. That's the whole painting. That's how I paint in photo. That's not exactly how I paint in Photoshop, because usually when I'm doing fully digitally, I'm doing other progress. So I'm just gonna sign and finish the painting. So yeah, this is just the way that I'm doing these reconstructions lately. And if you enjoy it, leave a like and subscribe for more. I'm definitely gonna do more tutorials in the future. Yeah, I'm gonna leave a link to my Instagram, which is where I'm more active, and you can give me ask me questions and stuff down below on the comments, or my Instagram DM me. And yeah, until next time, see you later.